What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we will be breaking down our first series of the conference semifinals with the San Antonio Spurs versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. So let's hop right into it. So coming into this series, the Spurs are the 2 seed in the Western Conference, and they knocked off the Trailblazers in 5 games in the first round, whereas the Timberwolves are coming in as the 6th seed and pulled off the upset against the 3-seeded Nuggets 4 games to 2. And these two teams have already matched up 3 times already this season, with the Timberwolves actually winning the season series 2 games to 1. So looking at some stats from the first round, we can see that San Antonio shot the ball really well against the Blazers, and they have the 3rd best offensive rating in the playoffs so far. And the Spurs also did a great job on the glass and protected the paint well, with Wemby and Luke Cornett as their rim protectors. Whereas Minnesota was extremely dominant on the glass against the Nuggets, with a plus 9 rebounds per game advantage against Denver in that series. And the Timberwolves, however, will definitely need to do a better job of taking care of the ball and defending without fouling against the Spurs. And now looking at some advanced stats, we can see that San Antonio has an extremely suffocating defense, and that was on full display in the first round as they held Portland to the worst effective field goal percentage in the playoffs. And the Spurs also do a great job of defending without fouling, and they will need to continue to do that in this series against Minnesota. And on the other side, Minnesota's offense was a little bit inconsistent in this first round, and that's certainly a concern with the amount of injuries that they sustained in that series. And the Timberwolves defense is also extremely disruptive, but they will also need to do a better job of being smart and not sending the Spurs to the free throw line as much. And looking at both teams' play types via synergy, we can see that San Antonio was extremely efficient in spot-ups, the pick and roll, and isolations in the first round. And the Spurs also were excellent at defending spot-ups and the pick and roll against Portland, whereas the Timberwolves were solid in spot-ups, isolations, and handoffs. However, the Timberwolves really struggled at guarding spot-ups and the pick and roll, and they will definitely need to improve that in order to have a chance in the series. And now looking at the lineups for both teams, first up for the Spurs, we can see that their starting lineup was super efficient when they were on the court together and healthy in round 1 with a plus 26 net rating. I think if they can stay healthy, especially Wemby, they're going to be really tough to compete with, and I think they have a chance to be as good as any team in this league. And San Antonio really excelled when Dylan Harper and Keldon Johnson played in the starting lineup, and I think their depth will definitely be a huge advantage in this series, especially with the injuries that the Timberwolves are dealing with right now. And now looking at the Timberwolves lineup, obviously Minnesota got hit hard with injuries in the first round, losing DiVincenzo, Anthony Edwards, and Dosunmu for the last game. And assuming Dosunmu is back for this series, their projected starting lineup of Conley, Ayo, McDaniels, Randall, and Gobert only played 14 minutes last round, and they were not very efficient with a minus 16.5 net rating. And the Timberwolves will definitely be relying on a lot of guys to step up and provide a spark for them off the bench, including Terrence Shannon, Bones Hyland, Jalen Clark, and Kyle Anderson. Now looking at some defensive assignments, first up for the Spurs. First, at point, Mike Conley, I think, is defended by De'Aaron Fox, and Dylan Harper when he's in the game, as they both do a great job of pressuring and picking up and just trying to disrupt the offense at the point of attack. And then if healthy, Ayo Dosunmu, or if Terrence Shannon starts here, I think will be defended by Stephon Castle to start, just using his length, size, and athleticism to disrupt their best perimeter scorer, as well as Keldon Johnson when he's in the game. And then Jaden McDaniels defended by Devin Vassell and Harrison Barnes, using their size and length to disrupt him. Julius Randle, I think, is a tougher assignment for the Spurs, as they don't have a ton of physical defenders that can kind of match up with him. But I think Champagnie, Carter Bryant, Keldon Johnson, and Harrison Barnes will all get time defending Randall. And then in the middle, Gobert defended by their bigs, Wemby and Cornett. And now looking at the Timberwolves, first at point, Fox, I think, is defended by Conley and Bones Hyland. Although I don't love this matchup for the Timberwolves, and I think it would be in a much better spot if they had DiVincenzo to defend Fox. And then for Castle, I think he's defended by McDaniels and Terrence Shannon. I think McDaniels is definitely on Stephon Castle, using his size and length to disrupt him. Whereas Devin Vassell, I think, gets matched up with Dosunmu and then Jalen Clark now when he is in the game due to their injuries. Then Champagnie, I think, is defended by Randall and Kyle Anderson. And Wembanyama defended by Gobert, who had an incredible defensive series against Jokic. He will definitely have to replicate that again against Wembanyama, and then Naz Reid when he is in the game. And now looking at some X factors in the series. First for the Spurs, Keldon Johnson, who was just named Sixth Man of the Year, really struggled in the first round against the Trailblazers, only averaging 6 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal per game, while shooting only 36% from the field, 50% from three on limited attempts, and 67% from the line. And the Spurs will definitely need his regular season production back, as they might be able to get away with that against the Trailblazers, but they're not going to be able to get away with that against the Timberwolves this series and if they continue to advance in this postseason. And for the Timberwolves, Terrence Shannon, who only played in 3 games in the first round, but really stepped up when they lost DiVincenzo, Edwards, and Io. He averaged 14 points, 2 rebounds, and a steal per game while shooting 52% from the field, 33% from 3, and 100% from the line. And Minnesota is absolutely going to need Shannon's production for them, and he will need to be a reliable scoring option if they're going to make this series competitive. And to recap, these two teams have already matched up 3 times already this season, with the Timberwolves winning the season series 2-1. And this series definitely features 2 of the best defensive teams left in the playoffs, and I would expect this to be a much more lower scoring series with the disruptive nature of both of these teams. And the Spurs look incredible in their first playoff series with this core, and Wemby did not disappoint at all and had some help from Castle, Fox, and Harper when he was out and missed time. And they will definitely need to continue to use their depth to their advantage in this series, especially with the injuries to Minnesota. And the Timberwolves put together a really impressive series against Denver, and I picked Denver to win that series 4-2, and they certainly proved me wrong there. But the loss of their starting backcourt of DiVincenzo and Edwards, I think is really going to hurt them in this series. And I would have loved to see this series at full strength, because I think this would have 100% gone 7 games and been super entertaining. But Minnesota continues to exceed expectations, and I would not count them out at all. But overall, my series prediction is going to be the Spurs winning 4-2 over the Timberwolves. I just think that their depth is superior with the injuries to Minnesota. I think that their defense is on another level right now with Wemby being able to roam the paint, especially with Gobert as more of a non-shooter. And I just think the combination of Fox, Harper, and Castle is going to be too much on both ends of the court for the Timberwolves to keep up with. So that is going to be it for me today, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. And if you did like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.